Here's the preview at the start of the book. Nikki Masters stared at the triple scoop hot fudge sundae melting in front of her. And the first page of the book? Nikki Masters stared at the triple scoop hot fudge sundae melting in front of her. That's right. The start of book preview describes the scene on the first page. Why even bother having a preview?
Argo Font Book Review. Argo Font Book Review.
As you can tell from the cover, Nikki is upset because she's being forced to wear those clothes. What even is that outfit? There's a giant pocket on the stomach just above the pregnancy jeans. Did teenagers actually dress like that in 1991? Sorry, got off track there. I meant to say that, as you can tell from the cover, Nikki's upset because Niles' old girlfriend Gillian is visiting for 2 weeks. Is the party over for Nikki and Niles? Similarly, Ben's old girlfriend Emily is moving back to town. Karen is nervous because Emily is a gorgeous supermodel TV star. Every guy in school has a crush on her. Karen tells Ben that she's nervous he'll want to date Emily again. Ha ha! You're not laughing, Ben. Why aren't you laughing? Ben admits he's been seriously considering dating Emily again, but he's not sure what to do. He doesn't know which girl he likes better. So he decides he's going to date both of them at the same time. This has bad idea written all over it, but Karen is desperate, so she agrees to let her boyfriend date a beautiful woman. Brittany is hanging out at the country club, feeling good about herself, because she broke up with Chip Worthington. The guy was a hopeless snob who tried to turn her into a younger version of his mother. It was gross. But then Chip's jealous ex-girlfriend walks by. Missy gossips about Brittany, like, "Did you hear about Brittany? She's such a pathetic loser. She threw herself at Chip and he hates her because she's a tramp." Brittany decides to ignore Missy and just kidding. Brittany can't handle being insulted by a near stranger. She decides to date Chip again in order to anger Missy. Because Brittany cares that much about some girl she's only talked to once. So she goes straight to Chip's school and flirts with him. He apologizes for trying to change her. The two of them kiss and make up. There's a school talent show coming up. Robin's gonna sing a song called "You're a Big Fat Zero, but I Really Like Your Face." That is a great song title, and I'm sad that is not a real song. Tim is also in the talent show. I'm not sure what his best talent is. Being so hot that girls fall for him, or overreacting to everything. Tim decides to go with acting as his main talent, and he asks Nikki to do a scene with him. Karen mopes because Ben is having lunch at Emily's table. Her friends try to cheer her up, and Karen gets an idea. She always gets good grades by cramming for her exams. Why not do the same thing with Ben? She'll become the perfect girlfriend by ignoring everything and everyone in her life, and I can already tell this plan is going to backfire. Nikki meets Gillian and curses. She's a British babe! She's sexy with a great complexion, rocker-style fashion, and she's super nice, too. There's no way Niles can avoid falling in love with her. Nikki's friends agree that Gillian's a great person, and Nikki goes, "Great! Gillian's stealing my boyfriend and my friends!" Karen gets up an hour early to style her hair and makeup. She also makes Ben a batch of brownies. He likes getting free food, but he's allergic to walnuts. Karen covers for her mistake by offering to type his term paper. That is, Ben wrote a 20-page essay by hand. She's going to take a few hours typing it into a typewriter so the teacher can read it. That was what high school was like before computers and printers. It was difficult. Nikki reads the scene that she's doing with Tim. Nikki's character gets into a big fight with Tim's character, then they kiss passionately. So it's a kissing scene. Tim asked his ex-girlfriend to do a kissing scene with him. Either he's a clueless idiot, or he has ulterior motives. They do a read-through of the scene. He's so intense her skin tingles. She tries to get into character by thinking about their big breakup. You know, when Tim stood Nikki up at a party by leaving early with Laura Bennett. That's not what happened. Continuity! And now I'm sad, because that was a problem in book 6. Nikki kept getting mad at Tim for no reason. But if he had ditched her at a party for another woman, that would have been a great reason to hate him, and the whole book would have made a lot more sense. Oh well, lost opportunities. Laura appears here. She's quick to explain that she was Tim's first choice for the kissing scene. In other words, back off my boyfriend, he's mine now. But when Nikki and Tim rehearse the kiss, it's mesmerizing and Nikki doesn't know how to react. Gillian makes a great impression on Chip Worthington because she's stealing everybody's boyfriends today. No, just kidding. She makes a great impression on Chip because her family owns a famous estate or something like that. Missy is jealous and Brittany decides this is a great opportunity for revenge. She interviews Gillian for the school paper in the middle of the country club where everyone can see them together. The two girls hit it off and Missy is furious that Brittany's best friends with the hot British chick. Karen takes several hours to type Ben's paper, which works out to, one page every 9 minutes? She's not a fast typist, and she gets slowed down by fixing all of his grammar and spelling mistakes. She decides to get Ben's attention with a new outfit, so she asks her friend Ellen if she can get her mom's employee discount. Ellen says she'll check, and Karen says, "Great, thanks, now hang up the phone. Ben might call." But he's not going to call. He's on a date with Emily. Uh-oh! Robin performs her song for Nikki, and she's awful. She has no singing ability whatsoever. This prompts a comedy relief subplot where Nikki tries to find a tactful way to tell Robin she's awful. But no matter what she says, Robin misinterprets it. Lacey and Robin's boyfriend are both afraid to tell Robin the truth, and eventually Nikki tells Robin flat out that she can't sing. Robin is mad for a while, but she gets over it, and she decides to lip sync at the talent show instead. Karen starts ignoring her friends. She cancels a meeting with them so she can organize Ben's notes, and she doesn't realize it when she almost makes Ellen cry. Karen buys an expensive dress and plans a super fancy dinner for Ben on Friday, even though she's never cooked a meal before and she has no idea what she's doing. Brittany's family and friends don't like that she's dating Chip again, and to be honest, she doesn't like it either. Their last date was 90 minutes of him talking about his tennis game. But she figures it's worth it to date him because they got the best table and the staff let them leapfrog 3 other people in line. Nice! But is this special treatment worth putting up with Chip? No, he's a total bore, his friends don't like her, and you know what? I've just noticed nobody has mentioned the fact that Chip beat Jeremy up to collect on illegal gambling debts in Book 5. You'd think that would be a strike against Chip's favor, but nobody seems to remember that. Continuity! Chip wants to take Brittany to the country club to meet his buddies again. She convinces him to try somewhere else for a change. This sets off a comedy of errors as he picks the trashy restaurant where Brittany used to work. The manager starts winking at Brittany, and she tries to distract everybody by lying about her friendship with Gillian. Gillian herself appears, and the lie is going to be exposed, but Gillian figures out what's going on, and she helps Brittany by supporting her version of events, for reasons that never get explained. Karen's date is much the same way. She tries to style her hair, but she messes it up, so she ends up with Shirley Temple-style curls. She rips her fancy dress, she burns half the food and undercooks the other half. The only part of the meal that ends up halfway decent is the cake that her mother made for dessert. But unknown to them, the cake is full of walnuts. Ben has a major allergic reaction and practically runs away. Karen goes to a fast food place to eat her sorrows away with junk food. Much to her surprise, Emily is there, doing the exact same thing. The girls start talking, and they decide it was an awful idea for Ben to date both of them at the same time. They confront Ben the next day and force him to choose a girlfriend. He picks Karen because she's the main character of the book. We end with Niles looking at Gillian with love in his eyes. Nikki realizes he's never looked at her that way. She talks to him, and he admits that he truly loves Gillian. Nikki and Niles have a friendly breakup, and she immediately starts wondering if she should make a move on Tim. Is it pathetic of her to go crawling back to him after dumping him? Yes. Is it wrong of her to interfere with Tim and Laura's relationship? Yes again. But luckily for Nikki, the next book downgrades Laura from Tim's definite girlfriend to Tim's vague romantic interest. Continuity! The end. Post-book follow-up. Let's wave goodbye to Niles. He showed up, he temporarily distracted Nikki from Tim, and now he's leaving. As far as temporary boyfriends go, he was pretty nice. Nicer than Tim, I'd say. He didn't really get into any fights with Nikki, and he was understanding at all times. I wasn't rooting for them to be a couple forever, since he always had, "I'm going back to England soon" expiration date hanging over his head, but I'm glad he got a happy ending with Gillian. Maybe. We don't get told what happens next with him and Gillian. For all we know, she refused to take him back, and he's crying in the parking lot now. The Niles-Nikki drama was better than the Nikki-Tim drama, and yes, I'm partly saying that because I don't like Tim. I was never sold on the idea of them as a couple, so I'm not buying the idea of them getting back together. The romantic tension between Nikki and Tim works well as foreshadowing for the next book, but as a standalone story, it's just kind of weird how Tim gets Nikki to do a kissing scene with him. She dumped you, Tim. Similarly, I wasn't fond of Brittany's subplot. You dumped Chip, Brittany. Don't get back with him just to spite some girl you barely even know. Seriously, why does she care about upsetting Missy so much? It felt like that was just an excuse to continue the Brittany-Chip storyline. So now she's right back where she was last book, dating a guy she openly hates because some people treat her better. Robin's subplot was fun, although I'm not a fair judge because I almost never complain about comedy subplots. If I had to pick between Nikki's two friends, I'd say I like Robin more than Lacey. She's more interesting and insightful, and plus she's the only person who's been willing to stand up to Brittany on multiple occasions. Lacey, you've got to step things up if you want to be my favorite best friend. Karen's storyline didn't interest me. I think it would have worked better if we had a scene with Emily early on. Emily doesn't say anything in the book until the very end where she talks with Karen. The Karen-Emily tension could have been built up a little more, because as it is, things are completely one-sided. We only hear Karen's side of the love triangle. It works for a one-book storyline, and it wraps things up nicely when Ben assures Karen that he loves her just the way she is. She doesn't have to be perfect in order to impress him. It was sweet. Overall, a good book, even if it's a little odd that both Karen and Nikki had to deal with an ex-girlfriend in the same book. I didn't like some of the little things, like Tim kissing drama and Brittany decided to date Chip again for bad reasons, but I like the book in general. I think the author did a good job of wrapping up the various storylines instead of dragging things out. I give River Heights number 11, Broken Hearts, an 8 out of 10.